Welcome back to another weekly GMBN Tech Show. Coming up on this show, we've got a crammed one this week. There's loads of cool news, some stuff from Ibis, what looks like a 29-inch wheel bike that Gwin might be racing at the World Championships, and we've got that brand new GT Fury downhill bike right here in the set. And of course, we've got all the great stuff for you amazing people. Okay, so first up in news is Ibis Bikes, who are one of my favourite little brands actually, because they make some really stunning bikes, and I've had a few of them in the past myself. Now, Ibis actually stopped the production of the size small in their Ripley, which is the 29er trail bike, and they basically weren't selling enough that they thought it was worth continuing them. Big mistake, it turns out. So they've been getting enough complaints from people that want that bike that they've actually started producing it again, but doing things a little bit differently. They've now got their own in-house carbon fibre manufacturing facility, and they're going to be making all of those size small frames in-house. Now the frame as well, it's got some refinements to it. It's got slightly longer reach on there, it's got a steeper seat angle, it's a bit more modernised. It's going to accept a 2.6 tyre on the back with loads of room around it, so it's way more up to date than other products out there currently. And something that's really interesting is it uses less parts of carbon fibre for it, so it actually has a third of the pieces in the construction in the way it's put together because they can control this in-house, and it's a lot lighter too. Now, although at the moment they're only producing a size small at their US factory there, I think it's really cool because I think that they're going to be gearing up to see how well they get on with that manufacturing themselves, and might look at bringing other models or other sizes, or even maybe a whole model range in-house at some point. I personally would love to see that. I love the way that company's always worked, and Scott, who runs the company, very cool guy. So I hope you're going to do this, Scott. Let's see it all US made. That'd be very cool. Next up is another bike to be released. It's a Kona Process 153 in carbon. Now, we did see this bike at Sea Otter, and we also saw it at Eurobike floating around, but now it's available to the public. So it's a carbon fibre frame of the aluminium one that already exists. It's a 29er, which of course means this thing is going to be a rocket ship when you start hitting rough terrain or gravity focused stuff on there. Now, it's a carbon fibre mainframe, carbon fibre seat stays, and interestingly, like their downhill bike, the Operator, it's got aluminium chainstays on there. And the reason for that is if you're going to damage anything on a bike, the most likely part you're going to damage in the way that you would ride something like that is going to be the chainstay. So they've made it in aluminium, so it's cheap and easier to replace should that happen, which is really good, I think. It's a nice system. Now, it's got 153mm of travel on the back, and it's set up with a 160mm fork. It's a 66 degree head angle, and it's got 425mm chainstays out back. So that is super short. Kona are quite famous for having that effect on their 29ers. In the past, I've ridden their Process 111. I've also ridden the 134 and the old 153, but the 111 was a 29er, and that thing was incredible. Now, it's not currently in the range, so I'm hoping there might be a refinement to that later on from them. If it looks anything like this Process 153, be a hell of a bike. But there you go. So that's a 153, an amazing looking long travel, gravity focus enduro 29er. More new bike news. This time it's the new giant Trance. So this is a 29er. It's got 130mm travel up front, 115 out back. So that is the sort of travel bike I would love to have. I think that thing is going to be a rocket ship. It's a carbon fibre frame, full carbon. It's got the Maestro suspension platform on there with a twin linkage system. And it's got a 44mm offset fork in there, which is something we're seeing on a lot of 29er trail bikes now. Basically bringing the offset back so it handles like it's got a true 66 degree head angle, as opposed to feeling like that at speed, and at low speed it feels a bit steeper and twitchier. Yeah, so it's interesting to see this 115mm travel as well. I think there's a room in a lot of people's bike ranges for that. We've seen that Yeti SB with a 4-inch travel out back there at 100mm. We've also seen the new Santa Cruz Blur running with slightly longer forks on. You've got rocket ships, but this one, 115 with 130 up front. I reckon if I could design a bike on paper, it would definitely have 29-inch wheels, and it would probably have, for me, about that travel. I'd love to have a go on the Giant at some point. I reckon that's going to be a really good bike. Now, something from YT Bikes here. So if you look at the Instagram shot on screen at the moment, this is Brian Resnier, who rides for YT Bikes. This is his Capra, and this has got, as you can see, a twin crown fork on it. Now, the Capra frame obviously was relaunched last year and is available in 29 as well. And it's certified for use with a twin crown fork, which suggests you could turn that bike into a bit of a bike park monster. Something perfect maybe for hitting up A-line at Whistler, that sort of thing. Now, look on screen now at this bike. So this is 2S, and this bike belongs to Gwin. Have a look at the wheels on that. That looks like a 29er to me, which is something that Gwin has not been racing in downhill. Of course, he's been stuck on a 27.5-inch wheel bike, which of course he's very, very good at. Now, we do know in the past he's had a lot of success riding 29ers, and we do know he rides the Jeffsy in the 29. So could this be a prototype of a new 29-inch platform from YT? My bets are, if it is, you're going to see this at the World Championships very soon. And finally, speaking of 29ers, you're going to have to wait until Tech of the Week later in the show, and I'm going to show you that brand new GT Fury, because I've got one right here. Okay, so now it's time for Bike Cave, which we all know is where you store your bikes, you keep your bikes, you work on your bikes, or even where you tuck them up at night. We want to see your bike caves, please send them in. There's a link to our new uploader on the bottom of the screen there. And of course the link is in the description below this very video. It's a super easy way of sending your entries for Bike Cave, Rewind, Top Mods or anything else into us. So make sure you get involved, take some pictures. So first up this week is from Marcus in Sydney, Australia. Keep up the good work. Your show and the rest of the GMBN crew are the best entertainment for a new dad who's got limited riding time. Right on, dude. That's really cool to hear. Thanks, Marcus. Right, so here's your humble bike cave, stroke garage, stroke hotel. I use the word hotel because the bikes in here don't seem to stay for too long. Yeah, liking that. Pretty good. The car no longer has a home here, as the bicycles get first dibs. Yeah, rightly so, I think, as well. Cars can stay outside, can't they? By the time I've uploaded the images, I've already sold one of the Anthems and the XTC. Flippin' heck, you're not messing around, are you? Yeti SB95 now sits in its place. I'm a strong believer in N+1, aren't we all? I think we should make a t-shirt on that, and I reckon it'd be quite popular. Anyway, let's have a look at your bike. You've got a lot of shoes in there, I have to say. A lot more household shoes than riding shoes. Maybe you should up the ante with your riding shoe collection as well. Like in your little sort of workbench area, like the milk crates at the top there with all your helmets and stuff in. Camelback hanging on the side there. The two giant frames, 3 giants in fact in there. 2 work stands. Single work stand and a bike hanging device. By the looks of it, I was wrong, not 2 work stands. Nice, good selection of power tools in there as well. Always like to see those. Fire extinguisher, that's a good addition. I should probably think of that actually. To make a bit of mess in mine. Could probably do one of those in case something goes wrong. Loads of good stuff going on there. Oh, nice Da Vinci as well. Really have got load of bike racked up. That looks a little bit like Blake's manual machine. You could turn that into a manual machine by just having an upright on the back, and as well as being a rack to store your bike upright, you can practice your manuals as well while you're at home. All important if you haven't got enough riding time, have a bit more entertainment. If you've not seen that video, check out Blake's manual machine over on GMBN. Great video that. Definitely make you use those power tools and turn that into a manual machine, I reckon. Very good. Nice work, Marcus. Thank you for sending that one in. Right, next up, this one actually brings a bit of a tear to my eye actually, because I've seen this picture before on screen. So this is the Otis frame. So this is like the old sort of soft ride system. Now I'm not going to talk too much about the bike because John has actually sent this in previously, but he's just said, I'm going to read this out. Sad news about the bike cave. My detached shop stroke garage was burnt down when the fire came through Shasta County, California. And of course, California's got incredibly bad fires at the moment. This is really, really sad actually. We were one of the first populated areas to become burnt in the fire. It turned out to become much larger. Evacuated at 2 AM on July the 26th. Only had time to grab a small number of things, including our most current bikes. Saved the specialised camber carbon and the giant live carbon. Had a really nice bike cave in the garage, along with multi-sport collection, tools, all sorts of stuff. Unfortunately, my 2 hand-built Otis Guy mountain bikes from the late 80s, early 90s are lost to the fire. Good news is that the incredible firefighters were able to save our house. Always a massive, massive bonus in a situation like that. And some of the neighbours' homes too. Amazing given that this fire burnt right up to the doorstep. Do you know, I can't even imagine how terrifying that must be. Like, yeah, hats off to the firefighters for sure. But anyway, have a look at the lovely bike, and then going to show you this quite a sad photo of what was John's workshop. Really, really sad to hear that, and I hope you get yourself another workshop, and I hope everyone was okay and all your neighbours and that are safe. Really gutted to hear that for you, John, but keep us in the loop and see what happens next. We'd love it if you manage to get yourself another bike cave together, and you never know, you might be able to find another one of those Otis Guy bikes. I hope you can. I'm sure someone out there will have one. They might want to sell it to you. Good luck. And we're out of the bike cave for this week. I am aware though that there are absolutely tons on our uploader that I've still got to go through. You wouldn't believe how many we've actually got. And we're going to start putting them up on our Facebook page to give some support back to you guys for supporting us. So start keeping an eye out for those on our Facebook. Alright, now it's time for Rewind. This is, of course, the section of the show where I get to bat on about all sorts of old crazy tech and bikes and general mountain bike nostalgia. If you've got anything old, any cool pictures of you racing back in the day, some old retro bike bits and pieces you've got, send them in. We love seeing that stuff. Uploader is in the link below this very video, so make sure you click on that and send us in some pics. So first up this week, and this one, this is so nice. So this is from Chris, and this is an amp research B1. And actually, well, I lie. I want a B1. This is a B4. What we're talking about. So this is the 4th generation of the amplifier platform. Classic horse lightener linkage out the back there. McPherson strut system on there. Oh man, it gets me hot and bothered seeing this. So this was a little bit more advanced than the original B1 because it's got like the seat mast system rather than a regular conventional unbroken seat tube on there. And of course, it's got an amp research fork up front. Man, so nice to see. Like, so nice. But let's read what you've actually written in before me just waffling on and taking over. You've shown amps on Rewind before. I've rebuilt a mate's and have to sort the discs out. To bleed them, they have to be disassembled and then submerged. Wow, okay, yeah. So while in the ATF, they're partly rebuilt. Also include, so I'm assuming they're the amp ones because they were also the same as RockShox. I think RockShox had rebadged amp brakes, didn't they? And they were hydraulic with cable actuation, as far as I remember. Yeah, Neil's got some of those lying around, I'm sure of it. I'll ask him. If he has, I'll get him on the show. Also included are photos of the flange that had to be mounted to the hub. The spokes and disc then had attached to the adapter flange. Oh, yeah, okay. Totally different. Yeah. Makes sense as a mounting system. So actually not seen that for such a long time. I'd actually forgotten it exists. Yeah, spokes and disc then attached to the adapter flange, which obviously bolts to the existing hub. This was before standard disc hubs. Rims on the bike are Campag A-Tech. I had some Campag Stenthos, I think they were called, or something like that back in the day. Really liked them actually. And I had to hunt down some original grippies for him. What do you think? I think it's rad. Love seeing it. Yeah, so that is the brake. Yeah, looks familiar. So that's an amp research brake there. Man, thank you, Chris, for sending that in. I am such a fan of amp research bikes. A B1 would be my ultimate, if I could do any sort of retro rewind project for myself, is a B1. And I will own one at some point. I will buy one. But yeah, thank you for sending that in. So next one up for the time being is from Paul, and this is his orange P7 from 1995. And I remember this, a friend had one just like this. I think he had some RockShox on it of some kind. I guess it would have been like Mags back then, Mag 20s or something like that. Found my dad's old hardly ridden P7 looking unloved in the shed, much coveted by myself in the 90s. Now a full overhaul and rides like a 1990s dream. Has a Shimano STX RC group set, remember that well. Canty brakes, megabyte tyres, so they were Ritchie megabyte tyres. Getting to re-ride all the Lake District trails I discovered in the 90s, back on a 90s rigid mountain bike. Yeah, that's really cool. I bet it gave you a bit of a shock when you got back on it compared to what bikes are like these days. Even a modern hardtail rides substantially better than these older bikes. But nevertheless, that's what it was like, and that's progression for you. Really cool. Rigid riding is due a comeback. Massive amount of skill building and reliability, no issues. Yeah, of course. P.S. Get my son into the sport too. See the product placement. No way. They're both in GMBN tops. That's so cool. And obviously you got with one of the orange camo on there, so it matches the orange logos on the bike. Oh, dude, that's so cool. Father and son out mountain biking together. That's the dream, isn't it, really? That's so cool. Thank you for sending that one in, Paul. Really cool to see. And I love the fact that you talked about the skill with, you basically got to have a lot of finesse to ride and agility to ride a rigid bike. Now, I think a lot of riders coming into the sport now, they're treated with such good first-timer bikes. If they actually tried to ride some of the bikes we rode back then, they would be shocked. In fact, it's a good experiment there, I'm sure. But I digress. Right, what's up next? Oh, Stephen, Cannondale's Super V 500. Always wanted one of those. Something about them, regardless if they were good or not. The head shocks, such a clean looking system with those single bladed oh man, everything about it. Right, so Mavic 2T3 wheels, Magura Julie disc brakes. I had Louise, but I remember Julie's as well, yeah. To tell you the truth, I'm not sure what is stock other than the head shock. To be honest, not a lot of it looks stock to me, but it doesn't matter. Look at the condition of the frame. Looks really, really good, dude. Yeah, there's something still just right about them. Cannondale, one of those brands. I don't know how they used to do it back then, but you know, the big oversized down tubes, the branding, it just looked right. Yeah, something really cool about them. Nice. Well, thank you for sending that one in, Stephen. And really cool to see it's still being ridden as well. That's nice. Oh, was that a pair of power straps on there? What are they called? Power straps or power grips? I've forgotten. Power grips. Man, they were like that alternative to toe clips and straps. Toe clips and straps in those days, like sort of preceded what we use these days, with like clipless pedals, and it was a way of holding your feet on, except for the mountain bike, and they're so flipping dangerous. And power grips was like a strap that went sort of across the pedal rather than across your foot, and you'd actually almost clip out of them. The same sort of notion as it takes a clip out of like regular pedals. So actually, by all accounts, they're quite ahead of their time. Never got to use them myself. I was a toe clip user and I went straight to SPD. So I had a set of Shimano DX, so my first ones. Transformed my riding overnight, got to say. But really cool, wicked. Thank you for sending that in. And we are out of time with Rewind this week. Thank you for sending these in, and keep sending them in, guys. We're getting so many. So I just want to see all that retro old stuff. Keep it up. All right, now it's time for top mods. So that's the modifications that you guys make to your bikes. Whatever it is, new saddle grips, the smallest thing possible, it doesn't matter. Honestly, don't care. You could do a complete rebuild and respray for all I care. I just want to see how stoked you are on upgrading your bikes and doing cool stuff to them, because that's what it's all about. Buy a bike, upgrade it over time, change a few things. Maybe you don't like the grips, don't like the saddle, don't like the tyres. Whatever it is you're doing, show us. Show us and tell us. Bit of show and tell. So first one this week is from Anthony in El Paso, Texas. I've grew tired of climbing in and out of my truck to transport my bike, so I built a wooden slide support that basically slides straight in, and all the bike and gear goes on one thing. This is really cool. I've not seen it. I mean, mind you, we don't have cars or trucks as big as yours, but this would be pretty good in a van, I guess, as well. Same principle. So nice big wooden plate. I guess that's made from like marine grade ply, something like that. Something nice and strong. You've got a fork support on there, a rear wheel support, and literally slide the whole bike in and out. That is a really, really good idea. Nice canyon as well, by the way, all murdered out black. Hey, that's genuinely a really good idea. If I show that to Blake, I'll better build one for his Jeep. You know, he calls his Jeep Jeff. So random, but yeah, wicked. Nice one, Anthony. That's a really, really good idea. Hey, it might be cool just to know how long that whole thing is, just to see if it could fit in sort of any other people's cars. Just good for reference. So I think that's a really, really good design. And also, it'd be nice to know what make like the holder is for the fork you've got there. I guess you get different ones for different pickup trucks and stuff anyway, but be interested to know, because that's obviously a modern bike, so that's really cool. Nice one. All right, next up is from Andrew in Marysville, California. Hi Doddy, loving the tech channel so much, it brings me back to simpler days of working in bike shop. I can almost smell tyres and rubber from working in bike shops when I was younger. Yeah, definitely simpler days, definitely fun, just chatting shop all the time, always good. Anyhow, here's my Santa Cruz Chameleon that I've been bringing up to my liking, one part at a time. Having worked in construction for about 10 years, I decided it's time for a career change, so I've gone back to school. Somewhat in there, money got tight and I sold off the giant Trance I was rocking at the time, but side work got good enough that I was able to afford this amazing hardtail. And what a relief it is to be back on the trails. Yeah, damn right. And hardtails now are better than they've ever been as well, so great time to get one. As I've been able to afford it, I've spec'd out some new Shimano SLX brakes. Best value for performance, in my opinion. Yeah, I think I agree with you there. The SLX brakes are really, really good. Pretty much can't fault them, to be honest. I think they're excellent. Chromag foo bars, that's the handlebars on there, with a little bit more rise than the stock handlebars on there. Good for a bit more control. Most recently, a good friend kindly donated his old giant contact dropper post to my cause. Hey, do you know what? Those dropper posts might be cheap, but they're really good. They work well and they stay working well. It's pretty much all you need from a dropper post, so awesome. He also says, thanks a million for hosting the channel. You're doing a good service for the mountain bike community. Well, thank you. I can just count myself as part of it with you guys. I do the same stuff as everyone else. So thanks for watching. Thanks for supporting us, because we'll keep making this stuff if you keep watching it. So right on, Andrew. Thank you. But thank you for sending those in, and see you next week. Okay, so now it's time for Tech of the Week. I want to talk to you a little bit about is the new GT downhill bike, which is called the Fury LTS. Now the LTS is a bike actually that GT made way back in the 90s the first time round, and it was a classic 4-bar suspension design. Now it was a really stunning aluminium bike, ball burnished finish on there with the 4-bar system. In fact, the shot right now, you can see the big titanium, like the investment cast link on the back there. And then this next shot just coming up is the slightly newer version, which had the trunnion mounted shock. Of course, we're familiar with trunnion mounted shocks because a lot of new bikes have them now with metric system on there. The trunnion mount in this case with the old GT was so you could adjust the bottom bracket height and the head angle basically of the bike by raising the position of the shock in where it's mounted. Didn't really change much else, just geometry, which is really cool and quite progressive. Now GT, as we know over the years, they've done loads of different suspension designs, and the next one I went to really was the iDrive system, which over the years changed a lot, and they've basically done a full circle and they're back on using the LTS, which is linkage tuned suspension system. Now on screen are a few shots of the prototype bike we talked about earlier in the year, and so right in front of me I actually have the first one in the UK right here. So this is the GT Fury Team. Okay, so while you guys are sort of getting your eyes on this masterpiece of a bike, really, to be honest, tell you a little bit about the range. So there's 3 models and a frame set available. There's the Team, the Expert and the Pro. The Team is the race bike replica, just like this one right here, and it comes with 29-inch wheels as stock. The Expert is 27.5-inch wheels and aimed at park-based riders. Think of it as, you want to throw the bike around a bit more, that's the sort of bike there. Now in size small and medium, it comes with 27.5-inch wheels as standard, and in the medium and large, it comes with 29-inch wheels as the option. The geometry remains the same whether you're running 27.5 or 29-inch wheels. The frame, of course, it's the same platform. It's just a switch system for changing out the capability for the different wheel sizes. So there's 200mm travel with the 27.5-inch wheels, 190mm travel with the 29 to make sure it gives it enough clearance to accommodate that. They call it the switch kit, which enables you to change the wheel size on there, and you've got adjustable cups for reach adjustment in the frame there, and you've got adjustable chainstays on there so you can change the length of the bike out back so you can get it to maybe grip a bit more in the turns or be a bit more manual friendly depending on the course you're riding and the way you want to ride. Now I just want to talk to you about a few things on this particular one that we have here. So obviously this one is the 29-inch wheel Team race bike. I mean, as I think you'll agree with me, it's a pretty nice looking bit of kit. Now our back's got a classic 4-bar design. So essentially revisiting the 4-bar linkage, but they've done it a bit different this time round. So they're still calling it the LTS system, the linkage tuned suspension. You've got your main pivot, you've got your chainstay mounted pivot there, which of course means it's going to be very active under braking. The braking forces don't really affect the rear wheel or the grip as such. But you might notice it's got quite a high pivot on it, as opposed to the old LTS frames had quite a low pivot. So low pivot was great, pedalled great, etc, etc. However, it's never going to be ultimate as far as bumps go. Now high pivot, as we do know, is much better for bump absorption because you've got the rearward axle path. However, the result of having that rearward axle path means you're going to get chain growth, and of course that means bad pedaling. So by routing the chain over that pivot and on an idler wheel system, best of both worlds. Of course, being a downhill bike is not affected as much by friction through the drivetrain, so it's all about basically building momentum on a bike that's going to travel down a hill as fast as possible. It's going to be supremely plush, really planted on the trails, and as you can see, a lot of the racers already are starting to get really good results on this new platform. Now something else really cool about this bike is the internal cable routing. Now as we all know, internal cable routing looks amazing, but it can be a bit of a pain in the arse. Now on this one, it's got something really cool called the groove tube. So it's basically a recess on the top of the down tube here. So it looks like internal cable routing, but it's actually external routing. It's ideal for mechanics in a racing situation, be that enduro or downhill in this case. Let's just say you have a crash, you tear out your brake line, something like that. It makes it really easy to replace this stuff without having to fiddle around with internal routing. I think it's a really good system, and it reminds me a little bit of the NS bikes that I was looking at Eurobike, which had the recess on the underside of the down tube. I do like this design on the top side because A, the cables are protected from rock strikes because they're on the top here, and also from mud and stuff, not as prone. On the underside here, there's a huge rubber plate to help protect that carbon frame from rock strikes and stuff. And it's generally a really good looking bike. So there we go, that is my tech of the week this week. Let us know what you think of the GT Fury in the comments. Always keen to hear what everyone thinks about them. Meanwhile, I'm just going to throw to myself upstairs in the maintenance set. We're having a little look at bike build. Hi, welcome back to bike build. As you can see, the bike is near enough done. I'm actually just missing a rear brake adapter, and then it's rideable basically. Just tweaking those gears, making sure that they're nice and indexed. Nice positive shifting, which is an essential as far as I'm concerned. Sound nice and crisp as well on that rear cassette. It's generally looking pretty smart, I think, but there's a couple more little customisations I'm going to be doing. Of course, going to be fitting a GMBN top cap on there, and you might have noticed that these bad boys, the carbon leg protectors, are no longer on the legs of the bike. That is because I've got something in this envelope that's going to customise them. They're going to look pretty cool. I'll give you a little peek. You might get the idea. Looking good. Gotta love those little custom things, eh? So the idea end of this week is I'm going to be going over to get the fork and shock tuned up, and then we're going to be doing a proper pro bike on this bike. I'll be telling you a little bit about why I've spec'd certain things on there, why some things have ended up costing a lot more, and why some things I've actually changed my mind at the last minute and spec'd different components on there. All part of the bike build thing, really. I think it's quite an exciting thing for anyone to do, whether you upgrade stuff yourself and you transform it into a different bike, or you start with a frame and do it that way around. And then we're going to be doing something pretty unique with this bike. Okay, yeah, so that is it for this week's show. Hopefully you enjoyed the ride as much as I liked presenting it to you. Loads of cool tech, I think you'll agree, and of course this bike was pretty special too, so a nice little addition to the show this week. For a couple more great videos, click down here for our Shimano XTR Geek Edition. So it's a real detailed look at the brand new Shimano 12-speed XTR, like XT Racing transmission. As always, click on the round globe to subscribe to GMBN Tech, and make sure you tell everyone about us. As always, if you like mountain bikes and you like mountain bike tech, give us a thumbs up.